Hello, this is Talon with Old Guy Stuff at Busy Corner Lane, and I've got these kind of really bright headlight attachments that I made for my remote control truck. There's my dog. We're out in the complete darkness in the yard. Okay, I've got this really bright headlight attachment, and my wife thought it would be really cool for me to show people how I made this attachment. So let's go inside where it's more bright, and I'll show you what's going on with it. Okay, so we're inside, and I've got these flashlights that I'm going to turn off so we can just see a little bit better without glare. And the flashlights are basically on this belt or strap type deal that I sewed up, kind of like this. And the loop that I sewed on the strap is what the flashlight goes into. Now they're in pretty tight, okay? They don't come off. And the reason I don't want them to come off is because I did this so I could run the remote control truck under the house and check the crawl space, because I'm pretty old and I don't want to be crawling around under the house. So I'll show you what goes on here then. Okay, first of all, I'm going to unscrew this. Take the battery out so I don't drop it, and then this can slide off, and this comes right out through the windows of the truck. Okay, so I've got this apparatus here basically made out of, it's either a cheapy nylon belt or a backpack strap, I don't remember which. But what I did was I wrapped the strap around the flashlight and I sewed it, okay? And I was going to do that on this bigger piece here, but it's actually kind of hard to see. So even though I don't have enough to do a whole thing, I've got this brighter material that I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to do it with this flashlight. I have no intention to use it. I'm just making it for the video. And that's because this one here is perfect. I'm never going to need to replace it. Okay, well, that is, of course, unless the flashlights die out on me. But then I'd have to custom make the strap for the new light that I use. Okay, so I've got this pin through this strap, and I can put the flashlight into it. It's going to be kind of tight, but you want it kind of tight. Okay, you don't want it too tight so you can't get it in. But you want it kind of tight so that it won't come out, right? Okay, so how do we determine where this pin's going to go? How do we determine where we sew it? Okay, I actually have these lines on here for using a different light width, but I don't have light anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this over like this. Okay, and it doesn't have to be tight. In fact, I found if you make it a little loose at first, it's better than making it too tight, because you can always restitch a little bit and tighten it up. Okay, so I've got this pin here. Okay, I just folded it over, hold it in place. This is sliding actually pretty easy, but I'm going to stitch to the side of the pin. Okay, so pull this out. I'm going to take this and close it down some. Okay, so I've got it like that, and then I'm going to make the pin go a little further. I'm going to try to, that just came out. Try it again. Go back in there. Okay, so I'm going to take the light out. And what I want to make sure I do is go down the line. I want this to be in a straight line with the pattern and the material. That's what I'm really going for. Okay, and then I'm just going to stitch in the row right next to it. I'm going to turn it around, so I'm going to stitch a little bit to the left. Okay. Now, what am I going to stitch with? I made a homemade speedy stitcher. Okay, I'm not going to worry about explaining the technique for speedy stitcher. There's lots of videos out there. I will make a video on how I made this though. It's basically a glue stick with a sewing needle melted into it, and that fits into the end of my screwdriver really good. I mean, nice and tight. It's not going to come out. Okay. And then what I do, and I'm only going to show a few of the stitches. I'm only going to take up 10 minutes on stitching this. Okay. Okay, so start with it like this. I'm just going to start, to the end of the loop part that way on that side of the pen. And at this point, I can go ahead and take the pen out. So then it's not going to be in the way. And then what I do when you speedy stitch and you pull back, you get a loop. And I know I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but I'll explain part of it. So you get this loop. And you just pull the loop through like that. And then you just move the needle down a little bit. Okay. And you pull the needle back. Push the thread through the loop. Pull the needle back. And you keep on doing this. So I'm going to pause it about this point, so you don't have to watch me stitch for 10 minutes. Okay, so give me a moment and I'll pause. Okay, I got the stitching part done, and I just want to see how tight it was going to be. Boy, I'll tell you what, this is majorly tight. Okay, I actually struggle to get it off, but you can get it off and you can get it on. Okay, just get that in there. And I like them tight though. And the reason I like them tight is so that they don't fall off on accident from whatever I'm doing this with. Okay. The stitch could be as neat as you want. If you don't like the way it looks, you can just re-stitch it. But basically, I did that on both sides here. Okay. On both sides here. And this let me feed it through the window. Put the other light onto it after it was through the windows of the truck. They stay in place good. And I've got a good set of headlights going for my truck, so I can play around with it outside in the dark or under the house or under my truck, my actual truck. So that's it. It's a good little thing to be able to make, and you can do things with it. Even made a nicer looking one out of leather, so I could sew this into a knife sheath. So I can have one of these flashlights on my knife. So using any type of needle and thread that you've got. It doesn't have to be a speedy stitcher. Any type of needle and thread that you got, and you just determine the size you want, sew it into place, and you'll be good to go. All right, this is Talon at Old Guy Stuff at Busy Corner Lane. Thank you for watching. Have a safe, peaceful, happy, wonderful day, and goodbye.